Good evening everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today's topic that we are going to discuss is the ransomware attack that happened on AIIMS, Delhi. So we are having follow up on all these developments that are happening. Yes, you may be reading this, the important point or important, let's say, developments from GS3 paper, internal security part. Main syllabus, and the important part of this is cyber security. Almost every year since 2017, GS3 paper, UPSC has asked at least one question on cyber security. So you should be knowing the importance, and now the health sector is becoming more vulnerable, especially after pandemic. COVID-19 pandemic, as a lot of data is being stored related to health sector, and it is being exploited through such kind of ransomware attacks. In this article, we will try to find out what is this particular details of this attack, what do you mean by ransomware attack, and how it works out, and along with that, why there is increase in the ransomware attacks not only in India but around the world. We will see some facts, important data, and you make notes out of it. But before starting the session, let me also announce that on this Sunday, that is 11th of December, Lukmaan IAS is going to conduct 400 Dreams scholarship test. This scholarship test is very useful for those students who are to some extent having some challenge related to economy, or simply we can say that the income, family income is less and they are not able to join the foundation batch. And this is a good opportunity for them, because for top 10 in this particular let's say test, top 10 students will be given the GS foundation course free of cost. Okay, so this is the opportunity, especially those YouTube followers for the Hindu analysis lectures, those who are following this. So if you are at present preparing by yourself and you want to join GS foundation course at Lukmaan IAS and let's say learn from the eminent faculties including Ansari sir and other faculties, we can say. So you can join this test, give this test on 11th December. The registration is open on the website. You can go to the website and register yourself and give this test. The nature of questions will be basic let's say reading of your NCERT, basic understanding of concept. Okay, and it will not be let's say, yes, to some extent some questions related to current affairs will be also there. Okay, so this is good opportunity, you should not miss. Now, yes, the table of content, what we are going to learn in this session: the context about this particular ransomware incident, details about the ransomware attack on the AIIMS. We will find out what are the details, what AIIMS administration has said, which different agencies has come into for investigation of this incident, all these things. Then the basics, what is ransomware, how does it work? So it is part of types of, let's say, cyber security attacks that are happening. So one of the type is ransomware. Then how serious are ransomware attacks? So here we will try to know some important data from different agencies, how there is increase in ransomware attacks, especially if we talk about healthcare sector. So here also some good data is mentioned, along with that the reason why India's healthcare sector is vulnerable. Now, which agencies in India deal with cyber attacks, and so what are the government, let's say, actions that are already in place, and thereafter what further needs to be done. Okay, so this is the content for today's session. First of all, the context. Okay, on 23rd of November, the AIIMS administration or e-services at the All India Institute of Medical Science, Delhi, were crippled by what is being suspected as a ransomware attack. Okay, so how do we understand ransomware attack? Simply you should know that as against to or as different from the other cyber attacks, ransomware attack is identified because the attacker itself is, they are providing information about the attack, because they are largely seeking some kind of ransom money, ransom amount. Okay, so that's why the name is ransomware attack. ठीक है, जैसे मतलब किडनैपिंग होता है ना, तो किडनैपिंग में क्या होता है कि एक पर्सन को किडनैप करते हैं किडनैपर्स, एंड देन फॉर रिटर्न ऑफ द पर्सन दे विल डिमांड सम काइंड ऑफ मनी. Here basically there is no kidnapping of person, rather there is simply, we can say that data is being encrypted and the access to the data is denied, and if that access is required back, so of course some amount of money is to be paid to the attacker, so that in return the key for decryption of that data will be provided. Now this attack comes within a month. AIIMS announced that it would go paperless from 1st January 2023 and fully digitized. You should know that AIIMS started, let's say, providing digital services or started digitization a decade back or 10 years ago, and now it wanted to go fully digital. And in such situation, this cyber attack has happened, or ransomware attack has happened, which has completely crippled down the health services in AIIMS Delhi. It has affected outpatient and inpatient digital hospital services, including smart labs, billing, report generation, appointment scheduling, and it is being said that about data of about 4 crores of patients have been, we can say, hacked by this ransomware. ठीक है, the access to the, let's say, this much amount of data is being denied. So this is the situation. If we talk about the details of the attack, it has stopped the access to the data. So the patient related data, or whatever the past, we can say that investigations are there, or different kinds of data are there, all this, let's say, files or databases, the access has been stopped here. This is the main concern, we can say, and the applications stored on the main and backup servers of the hospital, that access is also, we can say, stopped here. Second thing, the ransom amount is sought in cryptocurrency in exchange for key that would decrypt the data. Now this is, you should understand the link of this unregulated cryptocurrency market in the country, and we can say that the cyber attacks are. तो ऑफ कोर्स वो अगर कैश या कोई और चीज मांगते या कोई अकाउंट में पैसे डालने बोलते तो ऑफ कोर्स उसका तो ट्रेस होता ना. दिस इज नॉट ट्रेसेबल, दिस इज नॉट ट्रेसेबल, दिस इज द मेन कंसर्न हियर. और उन्होंने बराबर से क्रिप्टो करेंसी में पैसे मांगे. देन मल्टीपल एजेंसीज लाइक दिल्ली पुलिस, इंटेलिजेंस फ्यूजन एंड स्ट्रेटेजिक ऑपरेशंस फर्स्ट रिकॉग्नाइज दिस एंड इमीडिएटली फाइल्ड द एफआईआर. Then Center's Computer Emergency Response Team also stepped in. Ministry of Home Affairs and the National Investigation Agency have also joined the investigation program. This is the situation. Yes, why no backup data? Backup भी है, but वो backup भी secure नहीं है appropriate keys से. ठीक है? So and along with that, not all data is backed up. Not all data is backed up. तो ये एक मेन कंसर्न है, उसके भी लिमिटेशंस है. We'll talk about that hereafter. Then meanwhile, AIIMS Delhi has decided to get 4 new services from DRDO to be used on immediate basis to provide e-hospital facilities for patient. Today itself there is news that the server is going to be back and the e-services will be now streamlined in AIIMS. This is the situation at present. Okay. Now fine, look at this, the common stages of ransomware attack. First of all, I will explain the ransomware attack. What do you mean by ransomware attack? Okay, basically it is a malicious link or software which is sent remotely to a particular, let's say, a computer that is there on that network or server. Now if suppose that is clicked by that person, then automatically this software, malicious software, is installed and it is spreading to other computers on the network. Okay, and slowly it completely takes control over the whole server, and it reduces the access to the server and whatever the files on that network and devices. ठीक है, तो ये हमें पता होना चाहिए कि ransomware ये होता है. अब malware और ransomware में ये फर्क है कि malware जो होता है basically it is to only extract डेटा, या फिर डिनाइल ऑफ सर्विसेज अटैक होता है, या फिर एस्पियोनेज जिसको हम बोलते हैं, या फिर जो नजर रखने के लिए होता है, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल पेगासस ऑन व्हाट्सएप, दैट वाज मालवेयर अटैक, राइट? सो सिंपली वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड दैट ransomwares are different from this in one sense that they are seeking some kind of monetary benefits in return. उनको पैसा चाहिए ransomware, ठीक है? So this is the only difference we should understand. Okay, in past several and famous one, PETA ransomware. Okay, so you should know that this was all worldwide. PETA attack was very famous in terms of ransomware. You should give such example in question. Now here in ransomware there is denial of access, and this denial is, we can say that, removed only after the money is transferred to the ransomware attacker. Then only we can say the files are decrypted. This is the situation. Okay, ransomware. Now how it works? First of all, initial access, stage 1. Okay, the most common access vectors for ransomware are attacks continue to be phishing, vulnerability exploitation and remote services. फिशिंग मतलब क्या होता है कि जो अननोन सेंडर मेल करता है ना आपको, या मैसेज करता है, ठीक है, कि आपको लॉटरी लगी है, या फिर आप वो बोलते हैं कि इस पे क्लिक करोगे तो आपको इतने पैसे मिलेंगे, या आपको जॉब ऑफर है, ऐसे टाइप के जो मेल्स आते हैं ना, तो बेसिकली दे आर बेसिकली फिशिंग, और वी कैन से दैट द वल्नरेबिलिटी एक्सप्लॉयटेशन. So simply, if suppose our computer or mobile phone, smartphones, if they are not secured with antivirus or let's say firewall, so then they are vulnerable. Or if they are not updated with the software is not updated, then we can say that such kind of problems happens. Then second stage, post exploitation. The second stage may involve an intermediary remote access tool, उसको RAT बोला गया है, remote access tool, or malware prior to establishing interactive access with an offensive security tool. Simply we can say that there is now control over the system after, or we can say post exploitation, right? So remotely the particular server is being controlled. Then the third, understand and expand. The attackers have focused on understanding the local system and domain and acquiring additional credential to enable lateral movement. यानी कि ये जो स्प्रेड करने का जो हम बोल रहे हैं, ठीक है, कि कैसे स्प्रेड हो रहा है वन कंप्यूटर टू अदर, उसके ऊपर काम करता है अभी ये. Thereafter, data collection and exfiltration. The focus of the ransomware operators switched primarily to identifying valuable data and exfiltrating. सारा डेटा क्यों जरूरी है? उनको जो इंपॉर्टेंट डेटा है वही वो जो है एनक्रिप्ट करेंगे, क्योंकि उससे ही तो पैसे मिलेंगे. जो जिसका हम डेटा चुरा रहे हैं, सिंपली जो ये रैंसमवेयर है, जो अटैकर्स है, ऑफ कोर्स द क्रूशियल डेटा इज द इंपॉर्टेंट डेटा फॉर विच इन एक्सचेंज द मनी कैन बी डिमांडेड. So that stage is there. And lastly, ransomware deployment. The ransomware operators targeted a domain controller as distribution point for the ransom payload. So although technical things are involved, but simply for our understanding, we should know that how it works. Thereafter, you should know how there is, let's say, increase in the cyber attacks in different sectors. In 2021, we saw the biggest increase in ransomware in retail sector with 100% growth. This was followed by an 89% in the technology, 30% in the healthcare and 24% increase in the government over 2020 numbers. ये जो है इंडिया का हम बात कर रहे हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल लेवल पे, अलग अलग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन या सेक्टर्स में कैसे इंक्रीज हुआ है लास्ट 1 ईयर में, स्पेशली आफ्टर पैंडेमिक. How serious are the ransomware attacks? Simply we should know the data here, different let's say instances in the past. So talking about the AIIMS, preliminary findings by the cyber expert indicated that at least 5 of the AIIMS servers have been that hosted data related to more than 3 crore patients were compromised. In India, several cases of ransomware targeting the commercial and critical infrastructure have been reported in the recent past. For example, in May 2022, SpiceJet had faced such threat, while public sector undertakings Oil India was targeted on 10th April. Similarly, last month itself, November 2022, Central Depository Service Limited, CDSL, which is part of, we can say, payment and settlement system, capital market, detected malware in some of its internal machines. Although the CDSL had made clear that no, the critical data has not been, we can say, exploited here. Indian Computer Emergency Team, a CERT, we can say, response team, in its Indian Ransomware Report 2022 stated that there is 51% increase in the number of ransomware attacks across multiple sectors including critical infrastructure. Use this data in your answer. 51% according to this particular report. आपको रिपोर्ट का नाम भी लिखना चाहिए. अब ये इंडिया का है, वर्ल्ड का देखते हैं. According to Interpol's first ever global crime trend report presented at its 90th General Assembly meeting in Delhi, हमने ये भी कवर किया था सितंबर में जो हुआ था, अक्टूबर में जो हुआ था. Ransomware was the second highest ranking threat after money laundering at 66%. We can understand the kind of, let's say, the internal security challenge we are facing here. इंडिया का जो रिपोर्ट है, वर्ल्ड का जो रिपोर्ट है, उसे हमें आंसर में मेंशन करना है. नाउ परसेंटेज ऑफ ईच रैंसमवेयर टाइप्स ऑब्जर्व इन 2021. अब ये देखिए उनके नाम होते हैं अलग अलग रैंसमवेयर्स के. लाइक रेविल वाज द, वी कैन से, हाईएस्ट नंबर ऑफ रैंसमवेयर अटैक्स. Ryuk सेकंड, वी कैन से. देन लॉकबिट 2.0. ठीक है, ऐसे आपको 2-3 नाम पता होने चाहिए एटलीस्ट. ओके, रिमेंबर दिस. नाउ percentage of each organization hit by ransomware in 2021. Again, important data. Look at this. Media, leisure and entertainment 79%, retail 77%, energy, oil and gas utilities. It is very important part of, we can say, critical infrastructure. This is part of critical infrastructure. For example, what we have seen, Kudankulam last year, Kudankulam nuclear power plant, there was cyber attack on this. डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एंड ट्रांसपोर्ट वेरी वल्नरेबल. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे सिविल एविएशन, इट इज मोर वल्नरेबल. सिविल एविएशन. देयर आफ्टर बिजनेस एंड प्रोफेशनल सर्विसेज 73%. लुक एट द हेल्थ केयर 66%. देयर कैन बी स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन ऑन हेल्थ केयर. मेंशन दिस डेटा इन योर आंसर. 66%, let's say, whatever the ransomware attacks in 2021, they were there in healthcare sector. Now, if you talk about the government, central and federal government 60% and local and state government 58%. ठीक है, so remember this data, you can mention this in your answer. Now, number of ransomware attacks worldwide from 2016 to first half of 2022, and you can see the sudden spike in the attacks in 2021. From 2022, you can see it is double, almost double number of attacks. And what is this? Basically, this is pandemic year. This is pandemic year. And during the pandemic, the complete world was locked down, and the online transactions, online business, or every, let's say, transaction was happening, communication was happening in online manner. So digital, we can say that revolution happened after pandemic, and that was exploited by the cyber attackers. This is the, we can say, validation of this reason. Especially if we talk about India's vulnerability of healthcare sector. Look at this, 2 data. Cyber threat watchdog CloudSec has reported that Indian healthcare sector was the second most targeted cyber criminals worldwide. ठीक है, तो सेकंड मोस्ट टारगेटेड वर्ल्ड वाइड इट इज टॉकिंग, एंड इंडियाज हेल्थ सेक्टर इट इज टॉकिंग. कैन यू इमेजिन दिस? इंडिया में ही नहीं, वर्ल्ड वाइड जो है सेकंड लार्जेस्ट है. देन Cyfirm, a Singapore-based threat intelligence firm, had reportedly warned in March 2021 that major Indian pharmaceutical companies like Serum Institute of India, Biotech, Bharat Biotech is there. So these companies are more vulnerable, could become the targets to the hackers from Russia, China, North Korea as a part of their efforts to steal critical data on vaccine research and trials. This was also main challenge, we can say, right? Fine. The company reportedly identified 15 hacking campaigns with 7 from Russia, 4 from China, 3 from North Korea. This is the consequence of greater digitalization taking place, especially in the context of COVID-19 pandemic. We have seen that even the health sector, if you talk about the government initiatives like COVID, when this COVID was launched, there was concern related to cyber attacks. Although we can say that no such attack has happened, but the huge amount of data is there on this platform, no? Vaccination related data, demographic data, or simply we can talk about the different hospitals, and their digital, we can say that is being brought on the common platform. If we talk about, we can say mission, what is this? Ayushman Bharat, sorry. Yes, Ayushman Bharat. Okay, so huge amount of data is there, online data about the patients. So if we are taking this as an example, but now during the pandemic, what we have observed, lot of companies are involved in the research and trials related to COVID vaccine. Then the government itself is promoting digitization in the health sector. ठीक है, तो इससे क्या हो रहा है, बहुत सारा डेटा जो है वो अभी डिजिटल हो चुका है, and that is being exploited here. That's why healthcare sector is more vulnerable in India. ठीक है, okay. Now, which agencies in India deal with cyber attacks and how India is prepared at present related to, we can say, cyber attacks? The basics you should know that we have National Cyber Policy 2013. Remember this? National Cyber Policy 2013. It seeks to establish CERT teams not only at national level but also at state and district level, computer emergency response teams, and along with that it also seeks to establish the National Institute for, we can say, protection of critical infrastructure, ठीक है, information infrastructure. So this was established through this particular policy. Fine. So let's understand. Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, set up in 2004, is the national nodal agency that collects, analyze, circulate inputs on cyber attacks, issue guidelines, advisories, and we can say that forecast and alerts. It imparts training to computer system managers. So human resource development is also part of it. National Cyber Security Coordinator under National Security Council Secretariat coordinates with different agencies at national level on cyber security issue. Remember this, it is part of institutional structure. Then National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center. This is what I was talking here, NCIIPC. Okay, NCIIPC. Under this NCP, National Cyber Security Policy. Then Cyber Swachhata Kendra or Botnet Cleaning and Malware Analysis Centers has been launched for detection of malicious software programs and to provide free tools to remove the same. Cyber Swachhata Kendras, basically it is available online for any kind of, we can say, it is simply providing free of cost all this, we can say, antivirus. Then National Cyber Coordination Center works on creating awareness about existing and potential threats. So remember this, different institutional. Then there was this question on Cyber Dome project of Kerala in mains examination. Cyber Dome project, simply it is more proactiveness on part of पुलिस इंस्टीट्यूशन. साइबर डोम जो प्रोजेक्ट है, ठीक है, सो प्रोमोटिंग अवेयरनेस अमंग द पीपल. अलॉन्ग विद दैट इट इज ऑल्सो हैविंग मोर sophisticated, we can say, skills among the police personnel to deal with cyber attacks, different kinds of cyber attacks. This is the Cyber Dome project, we can say. It is kind of creating institutional infrastructure and we can say that capacity building. Fine. Now in addition to this, let's say what further things are required. Let me mention those also, because we should understand, despite of all these things, the attacks are happening. ठीक है, तो ये क्यों हो रहा है, रीजंस हमें पता होना चाहिए पहले. We can say we are in transition towards digital ecosystem, and in this transition we are slowly moving towards the cyber protection, but we are at very fast pace moving towards the digital ecosystem. ठीक है, तो जो पेस से हम डिजिटल इकोसिस्टम में एंटर कर रहे हैं उसी पेस में हम जो है जो साइबर सिक्योरिटी मेजर्स नहीं ले रहे हैं. ऑल्दो वी हैव स्टार्टेड बट वी आर. देन सेकंड, यू शुड नो दैट लैक ऑफ cyber literacy, awareness among the people, common people, and makes them vulnerable. Then in general we can say that overall government institutions and their vulnerability. We can talk about strategic aspects, ठीक है, और critical infrastructure, information infrastructure, CII, ये word use करना है आंसर में. So that needs to be protected. Like whatever the attacks are happening, they are like AIIMS, government का hospital है इतना बड़ा, सेंट्रल लेवल पे very important we can say, and the data stored there, तो उसको प्रोटेक्ट. या फिर हम कुड़नकुलन न्यूक्लियर प्लांट, या फिर हम बोल सकते हैं कि ऑयल इंडिया, इट इज पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग. सो गवर्नमेंट एजेंसीज आर स्ट्रेटेजिक सेक्टर. दिस इज वी कैन से गोइंग टू बी कंसर्न. And then we can talk about the kind of, let's say, the capacity is required, because at present human resource, the professionals, under this policy it was decided that there will be training of 5 lakh personnel, बट ये नहीं हो पाया है, ये टारगेट अचीव नहीं हो पाया है. सो ह्यूमन रिसोर्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ वी कैन से पर्सनल हैविंग नॉलेज टू डील विथ सच काइंड ऑफ साइबर अटैक्स, प्रिवेंट सच काइंड ऑफ अटैक्स, ये नहीं है अभी राइट नाउ. ओके, सो वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड वी आर लैगिंग बिहाइंड द साइबर अटैकर्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ वी कैन से दिस टेक्नोलॉजी. नाउ व्हाट फर्दर नीड्स टू बी डन, इसी को हम उल्टा कर सकते हैं. What government needs to do? First of all, secure your strategic sector, then capacity building, then awareness generation, and then along with that you should be also talking about making all these provisions free of cost or at very low we can say money. अभी जो एंटीवायरस खरीदने जाते हैं समझो हम कोई भी सिस्टम के लिए, तो ये काफ़ी महंगा होता है. ऐसा भी बोला जाता है कि ये जो एंटीवायरस बनाने वाली कंपनीज जो है वो खुद ही कुछ लूप होल्स छोड़ती है और उसके बाद में वो लूप होल्स एक्सप्लॉइट किए जाते हैं, फिर उसके लिए ये अपडेट करते हैं एंटीवायरस ताकि उनका बिजनेस भी चलता रहे. बट ये कितने हद तक सही है, वी हैव टू ऑल्सो लुक इनटू दिस. बट यस, दिस इज वेरी कॉस्टली एंड दैट्स व्हाई इट इज बीइंग सेड दैट ये हमें कॉस्ट कम करना है और साइबर वाला जो हम स्पेस हम बोलते हैं कि इसको और सिक्योर करना है. और ये ज़्यादातर हो पाएगा जब हम साइबर सिक्योरिटी के रिलेटेड लोगों में अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करें. ओके, सो दिस कैन बी मेंशन इन द वे फॉरवर्ड. नाउ यस, द मेंस क्वेश्चन, एपिसोड ऑफ ransomware attack on AIIMS has exposed India's vulnerability towards cyber attacks. Examine. Okay, so you should mention about with this context all kind of some data you can mention, way forward also mention. Discuss the types of cyber attacks and evaluate India's preparedness to deal with them. अब ये basic है, ठीक है. So types of cyber attacks you can mention this one: malware, ransomware, phishing, espionage, denial of service attack, DOS. Okay, or we can say that जो अभी आया हुआ था पेगासस, ठीक है, तो ये मालवेयर है. तो इसी तरीके से जो हम बोल सकते हैं कि अलग अलग टाइप के वॉइस फिशिंग आ गया है नया, ठीक है, वॉइस फिशिंग. देन डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ वी कैन से साइबर क्राइम्स आर देयर. बट ये साइबर अटैक्स की बात करें तो साइबर क्राइम्स में भी एडिशनल चीज़ें आ जाती है कि ऑनलाइन स्टॉकिंग, एंड वी कैन से दैट द जो पर्सनालिटी जो है दूसरी पर्सनालिटी का नाम लेके अकाउंट बनाना, सोशल मीडिया पे डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ साइबर क्राइम्स हम बोल सकते हैं, दैट इज डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट, बट ये मेन आपको पता होने चाहिए। देन इवेलुएट इंडियाज प्रिपेयर्डनेस टू डील विद देम, अभी जो हमने बात की थी इंस्टीट्यूशनल सेटअप का, वो बताना है, उसके लिमिटेशंस बताने हैं और वे फॉरवर्ड बताना है, उसको हम इवेलुएट बोलेंगे, ठीक है। जो अभी है एग्जिस्टिंग उसका कैपेसिटी, देन वी कैन से लिमिटेशंस एंड देन वे फॉरवर्ड। Okay, so yes, these are the important, we can say, dimensions of this particular topic. Again, I am repeating about the 400 Dreams scholarship test on this Sunday, 11th of December. Go to the website of Lukmaan IAS and register there. Try to prepare for this during this week. And yes, again, I am telling you, it will be basic. It will be based on the NCERTs and we can say basic understanding of concepts. ठीक है? Okay, fine. Thank you.